Again, I'd like to welcome everyone to How to Succeed in Marketing Your Firm Online. Thank you so much for joining, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to be covering quite a few channels that you would want to consider in marketing your firm online. That would include your website, search engine optimization, social media, pay-per-click, and then I'm going to give you guys some additional resources at the end in case you want to learn a little bit more about each of these channels. Okay, so first, let's talk about mechanics. What's the difference between two mechanics? Well, assuming that the types of cars they can work on and the services they offer are about the same, why would a customer pick one mechanic over another? And the answer to that is actually marketing. Um, marketing in marketing, really, perception of the business is reality, and how potential clients feel and think about your firm doesn't have to make logical sense. So, for example, if they feel a little bit nostalgic or if nostalgia resonates with them, a smaller shop presenting themselves as a mom and pop shop may resonate with them because they feel that they will get more personalized attention. Furthermore, financial services are about trust. I'm sure you guys know this well. I know, for example, my family goes to the same CPA because they have a relationship with the CPA, where they trust that whatever advice the CPA is giving is good. And once someone has that loyalty towards, your firm or yourself, that's something that's very hard to shake. So, and it's because they trust you, and a client does have to believe 100% in your abilities before going to them or going to you. And then also, awareness means action. Of course, no one can ask you for questions or for your services if they don't know you exist. So, based on this, what's the difference between your accounting firm and others? Really, it's how they perceive you, whether they trust you or whether they feel they can trust you, and whether they know you're there. Okay, so let's talk about your website. This is really the hub that connects all parts of your firm's online presence, and it is essential. Um, so let's talk about why you need it. You'll need it to build confidence. Customers now look up everything online before they buy a product or consider a service provider. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's an accountant, a dentist, whether they're buying a TV on Best Buy, they're going to look it up, they're going to look at reviews, and they're going to look at the specifications on what the service or the product provides so that they can feel confident in moving forward. Also, you need it because you need to control the message. How you present yourself is the first step in building your reputation as a professional, and a website is a way to communicate your message or how you present yourself. And also, a website is really just to provide information for the person that's searching for you, whether it's on the services that you provide or really even just to contact you or where you're located. So when you're looking at your website, whether you have one or are considering moving to a new one, um, you'll need to consider who's going to build it. You can save time by finding a company that provides and manages the technical aspects of your website. There are, platforms out there that will let you DIY, but it's very easy to run into problems if you don't have, um, you know, experience with technical things such as coding. Another thing you'll want to consider is how it will look. So this is really referring to the design, the way the information is organized, and whether it has your own personality or personal touch. And actually, design is something that can easily turn people away from really moving forward with your business or finding more about your business if they feel that the website is outdated, if it's too busy. And actually, there was a study done by Forbes a few years ago that found that design was the most cited area where they needed improvement when someone felt that the website they were looking at was not trustworthy. So about 90% of respondents, I want to say, from that study found that they just didn't trust it solely based on the design. Also, your website, of course, is to collect client info. Your website should have forms that collects data from your visitors so that You know who to follow up with. You know if your website is working. That's what we call leads. So really you're wanting to collect your leads. Furthermore, you're going to want to make sure that on your website, whatever you decide to do, or whether it's DIY or if you go with a provider, is to make sure that there's ease of navigation. If a user can't get around your website or can't find the information they're looking for, they're going to get confused and they're probably going to move on to someone else. So really, user experience affects how long visitors stay on your site and whether they decide to even contact you. Another thing is your content. What you say and how you say it should be an extension of your personality, and so really this is where you can demonstrate your voice, and that's very important because it's really the client's first interaction with you before they even meet you. It also helps because it's addressing the questions that they may be asking. And then finally, this one's really important. You want to make sure that your website is responsive to mobile devices. What that means is that the website will adjust the content and the layout so that it looks good on a smaller screen. More than half of the population accesses their websites from a smartphone or a tablet. So a lot of people are very likely to use their iPhone or their Android device to look your information up. So you want to make sure that your website looks good both on a desktop and on a mobile device especially, because if they're searching for you and find that the layout is not ideal, again, they're not really going to spend too much time working against it. They're just going to go back to their search results and move on to someone else. So some pitfalls to avoid when either choosing or designing a website. Make sure to avoid needless complexity. Don't make your website too busy or too unique where it's hard to find information. And this is really speaking to the design and the user experience on a website. If the design looks like it was probably made even, in 2010, you can tell that, with the designs, and a designer can help you point that out. People aren't going to trust it because it looks old, and people know that with older websites, there tends to be security issues. So you want to make sure that your website looks up to date. And then in terms of making it too complicated, with your navigation, it's ideal to have at most 7 items on your navigation, with your most important ones up front and at the end. And that's because people tend to remember those best. So adding a lot of items on your navigation, especially in the first row of buttons, is going to make it really difficult for people to understand where they need to go. Another thing to avoid is failing to update. So this doesn't mean that you need to update it every day or even every week, but it would help to look at your website and update any important information that you need to communicate to both potential and existing clients. Some of the more common ones would be if you're changing office locations, having that on your website a few weeks prior to moving locations if you have a physical address is ideal. Another thing you'll want to communicate are vacations or holiday hours, especially if those are falling anywhere near tax season, or if anyone needs to file an extension and you're not going to be available. This is something you'd want to put on your website. And then finally, the last pitfall, or one of the last pitfalls to avoid, are going to be DIY without experience. Look, you know what you know, and you know what you don't know. So working, outside of your expertise is going to make things a lot harder. It's going to require you to spend more time than you really need to. And there are some technical aspects that, you have to, with a website, you have to know some coding in order to get exactly what you want. An example is dragging, dropping an image is sometimes easy on the website, but if it's not displaying correctly on the responsive version of your website, you'll need to know how to fix it. And, with some websites, that's a little harder to do. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys a live example of what a good website looks like. And again, you are going to have this with you when you receive the PowerPoint slides, and the example is going to be here in this top right corner, just right here. So we're going to click on that. I'm going to be looking at navigation, contact info, client tools, design layout, color scheme, and relevant images. So let's just go ahead and take a look. So here's the website. This is actually a design that we have available on CPA Site Solutions. And here we have the navigation, which is easy to find. If you scroll down, you see that the navigation moves to the top. It's really easy to find what we're looking for. And this is what it looks like on a desktop. You can even see what it looks like on a mobile device. So here's the navigation on a mobile device. This is in its standard location for all websites, regardless of what industry you are in. The navigation on a mobile device must be in the top left corner so that it is easy to click with a thumb if you're right-handed. Here's the contact information, and here you see it has a login for clients to easily access their information, clients of yours, and this is something that is available to all CPA Site Solutions members, is a secure client portal so that you can securely exchange documents over this instead of, risking it through email. Okay, so here are some resources for you guys when you get the PowerPoint slides. If you want to learn a little bit more about websites, refer to slide 12 of this presentation. We have a few blog posts that I would recommend. It's 5 reasons why mobile site speed is essential. So I did speak to having mobile responsiveness be a factor that's important on your website, but now you also have to ensure that your website is loading quickly on a mobile device. The next would be to find out a little bit more about template versus custom websites. We offer both on at CPA Site Solutions, so really it just depends on what your needs are for your firm and what your marketing budget looks like so that if it allows for this. And then of course 5 ways to keep your accounting website fresh. I did speak to updating your website as a pitfall that could easily happen. So here are 4 ideas on ways that you could keep your accounting website content up to date and fresh. And then of course I'd recommend an in-depth white paper that we have, 10 best practices for creating a great accounting website. These will give you a punch list of 10 items to look out for and to really start structuring your website so that it's great. Okay, so let's talk about search engine optimization. That's naturally what you're going to talk about next if you're talking about websites, because a website needs search engine optimization in order to have the visibility that you'd want it to have. So, okay, let's talk about some of the points on why you would need SEO. First of all, only the first page is seen in most cases. If someone searches accountant in, your city or your location, or even accountant near me, 10 firms, at most 10 firms will be viewed as an answer to that question. And really what people will do is, of course, they'll go to their search, look on a search engine results page, look at the list of their results, and then decide from there which one they want to choose. Very rarely will they go on to the next page, and if they don't find what they're looking for, they'll just refine their search so that it gives the results that they're looking for. Another thing about SEO, competition is absolutely fierce. Google recognizes the location and presents options for areas that are adjacent to that query. So any firm that is within the area that the searcher is looking in, those are the results that'll be show up. And then if you are in a very competitive, saturated market, then the competition is going to be higher. And then of course humans and crawlers both need to know you. Of course the purpose of SEO is to create positive signals that tell crawlers, which are the spiders that search engines send out to figure out what all the pages say. It creates positive signals so that crawlers will go out and then save those pages and then present them to searchers because those pages are relevant to the question that they are asking. A couple of things to consider with SEO is there is no instant gratification. SEO efforts on average take approximately 3 to 6 months to see any movement. And that's, on average, that will really depend on what your market is, what you're targeting, and where you're starting off of. So, but no matter what, it's going to take some time. So if you're considering SEO, right now would probably be the limit to really start implementing a program, because if you want to rank by tax season, you'd really need to get started on SEO now. Another thing about SEO is it's going to require back-end optimization, and what that really means is that, with SEO, you'll very likely need to go to the coding of your website to structure the pages correctly, to structure the URLs correctly so that it includes keywords, add what we call meta tags and meta description, or just metadata in general. And that's something that needs to be coded in with someone that has some expertise in HTML. So, choosing a website provider that can perform backend website SEO is ideal, unless you guys, have some experience with HTML. And then also, SEO is going to require on-page optimization, and really what that involves is content that focuses on keywords that you want to be found for, and creating unique content that's special to your website so that, you're more, Google is likely to prefer unique content and display that. And then, of course, you'll want to consider what your backlinks are and social media. So how you rank does not solely rely on your website. It also relies on factors surrounding your website. One of those are backlinks. So what backlinks are hyperlinks from other sites that you click on, and it would lead people to your site. A backlink in terms of SEO is like a vote of confidence from a network that tells people this is a worthy site. So really with SEO, you have to gather quality backlinks so that it creates a powerful signal and influences your rankings. And social media is, although it doesn't directly impact your ranking, it can help distribute your content and your business presence so that people are more likely to link back to your site. Another thing is really, if you're doing any sort of online marketing with a website, but especially for SEO, you'll want to implement Google Analytics. So Google Analytics will give you information on how your website is currently performing, and it will become essential to understand what your benchmarks are and establish a benchmark that you can measure against after you've started an SEO program. And by the way, Google Analytics will show you traffic from search engines that are organic, and then it will also show you paid. So it's not just specifically for SEO. Some things to avoid with SEO are black hat SEO tactics. Google has really cracked down on people that have tried to game the system. Some of those tactics include keyword stuffing. So if you're just throwing in a bunch of keywords on a specific page and it doesn't really make sense, that's clearly keyword stuffing, and it's not something that Google will appreciate. One of the bigger ones is having a link building scheme. So a link building scheme really refers to paying someone out on the internet to link back to your site from websites that are clearly not about accounting, probably not even in English, and the goal is to have a large amount of links that go back to your site so that it looks like a lot of people are linking back to your site. Well, Google has definitely cracked down quite a bit on this practice. They will actually look at the quality of the websites that is linking to your own, and if the quality of the website is not ideal and clearly has nothing to do with accounting, or that your geographical location, or doesn't make any sense whatsoever, they're going to flag you if you have too many of those, and that's what we would call eventually, if it's bad enough, a manual penalty, and that's a mess in and of itself. So you really just don't want to go there. Another thing is You'll want to avoid lacking original content or any original content. Google is less likely to rank websites that only contain duplicate, copy and pasted content from another site. So, it's best to create your own copy on your website and just start updating that website so that, so that you personalize and it has your own voice and it has the keywords that you want to target, but also it's original to your site. So I did want to go over a page title and a meta description with you. So a page title and a meta description are really important to SEO, and these are tags that are coded into your website. And it's actual copy, but it's not evident when you look on a page. But the reason why it's so important is because this copy gets pulled out of your web page and presented on a search engine results page. And ultimately what it does is it tells search engines what that specific web page is about. And it shows on a search engine results page so that searchers are incentivized to click through to your page. And that's what you want. You ultimately want to incentivize people to click through to your website. So the first one would be a title tag, and that's, let's see, this up here. So where you see visit Catherine Bell CPA in Temecula, California, that's your title tag, and that's actually written into the page. So here in this example, the search engine has, or Google has taken that title tag and put it on their search engine results page. And with a title tag, it is one of the keys to getting a page found in searches. Like I said, it tells search engines what your page is about. So you'll want to ensure that you have keywords in your title tag so that they know how to rank you or which keywords to rank you under. And you'll also ideally want to include a call to action. So here the call to action is visit Catherine Bell, CPA, she's a CPA I can tell, in Temecula, California. She's a CPA in Temecula. So then Google would take this page and serve it to people that are looking for CPAs in Temecula, California. Okay, the next is going to be your URL. So here, this appears in the browsers where you see www. address.com, and then you'll see a string of your page's name. So this will be shown on the search engine results page as well. This can also contain keywords similar to the title tag. It doesn't have as much weight as a title tag, but it still helps people and search engines understand what your page is about. And so this should be, if you have any more words that you want to include here in your page name, then you'll want to have a hyphen between the words. And then finally, a meta description is this gray text that you see here. This doesn't directly impact your rankings, but what it's ultimately doing is that it entices and encourages searchers to click on the link because they'll read that text and decide whether that's the information they're looking for, and if they'll click on it if they want to learn more. Ideally, you'll want to include some keywords in here because they'll bold if it's something that's included in their searches. And then, of course, contact information. If you have the room, it's ideal to put in a phone number so that, people can actually see it, and they might even just call you by there. But, having a phone number is suggested. Okay, so here's an example of a typical search for an accountant. This one was accountants in San Francisco, and this is typically what it would look like on a desktop. So the layout of a search engine results page is you're going to have the ads here, and that's going to be a pay-per-click. And then you're going to have a snack pack here, and then underneath here, if you were to scroll down, you'd have the organic listings in the format that I showed you in the slide prior. So it's important to know that third-party information can be shown with a list of results in organic results. So Yelp has been coming up a lot. There have been lists of top 10 accountants in so-and-so area. So know that not all of the results are going to be all accounting firms. Some of that is going to be put in by Google as suggestions of lists that come from directories on Yelp. Okay, so here are some resources that I would highly recommend that you look over, especially now if you are deciding whether to do SEO. Now is the time. Um, there's a few blog posts available. There's a series of blog posts on how to improve your accountant's rankings in 2016 and beyond. It goes into depth on what ranking factors are actually factored into the algorithm, and it's put in ways that are easy to explain. And then and it'll really just teach you, it'll show you what's important, what to look for on your website, how to specifically rank in the snack pack, which is the map listings that you saw before, and then how to specifically rank in organic listings, which you saw before. So I'd highly recommend that blog post. I would also recommend that you look at duplicate listings and why they're bad for your accounting firm. That's referring to any duplicate listings that are on Google Maps. So those are actually really bad for your accounting firm. They can significantly impact your rankings. So I'd highly recommend that you take a look at this to see if you have any duplicates, and if you do, what to do about it so that they get taken care of. If you would like a little more information on SEO and how it affects your firm in an overall sense, I'd highly recommend this white paper, Local Search and How It's Affecting Your Firm. Okay, so moving on to social media. So really this is going to be your direct connection with your audience and their social network. So it's a way to get in front of your audience. Some reasons why you need it. It gives the appearance of you being alive. So having an active social media presence builds trust and shows that you're in business. So a lot of people will actually look for this stuff, along with your website. They'll look at your Facebook page to see if you're there, if you're present, and really it's a nice way to put a face to the name. Another more important part of social media is that it's often treated as a way to address customer service and customer service issues. Occasional critiques on your page gives you an opportunity to show that you listen and you care. So really it's a way to address any concerns that might come up. Or, sometimes people are really happy with your work and they'll mention and, they'll thank you directly on your social media page. And really that's a way for others to see that you care about your customers and that, they are vouching for you, and because they have to take time out of their day to really write that. So it's a lot like a review. They are letting others know that you are worth doing business with. Also, you have potential to have free advertising with warm leads. So what that means is that social media's best use is to build a strong base of loyal customers and let them spread the word. So when someone interacts with your page, anyone who is friends with that person on social media will see that interaction. So say, for example, someone leaves a really good review on your Facebook page, which is something that you can do. Their network of people will see that they've left that review, and they'll be able to read the review. And someone that sees that and is looking for an accountant, what the other person has done by word of mouth is warmed up that lead for you, and they're likely to sort of check you out and really just be aware that you're there. So, social media has that power. Some things to consider is, determine your channels that you feel comfortable being on. So not all social media networks or channels have quite the same use, and each is going to take its own time to really nurture and provide content for. So I won't go into too much detail. This list will be on for you when you get the list of slides, but some of the most popular options for accountants are Facebook and Twitter, especially Instagram and YouTube. Facebook is really the most intuitive channel to use. Everyone's on there. It's a wide range of ages, anywhere from your millennials all the way down to your baby boomer generation. So you can really address a wide range of people. Twitter is more about conversation and topical information and about real time. So Twitter is a great way to, address news that's happening, even just accounting or topics that are related to accounting in the news, which are, happen a lot. This is something that Twitter is great for, but because it is in real time, it requires that you post more often. Instagram is great for visuals. So, if you have an office in a great part of town and you want to show off your new office, Instagram is a great way to go. And then with YouTube, it's ideal to post video content about your firm and financial services in general. A lot of people put testimonials on YouTube, on their YouTube channel. And of course, because YouTube is owned by Google, it's going to show in search engine results. Okay, so another few things to consider when you're building your profiles and when you decide which platforms you want to use, put your best foot forward by providing as much information about your firm as possible. So each of these profiles will allow you to include high-resolution photos, post your name, your hours, add information about the services that you offer, and about us. It tells where you can really show off your expertise. Been CPA for over 30 years, your firm's been around for over 30 years, that's definitely something you'd want to include on your social media profile so you can fill out all of that information. You'll also want to consider when to post and what you want to post. So you'll want to make sure that whatever it is that you're posting has quality, is relevant to what people are looking for, what your audience is looking for, is original, and you have a consistent posting schedule. Some pitfalls to avoid are, as I just mentioned, a schedule, having an inconsistent schedule. So people will learn to expect your post on a certain day and a certain time. So, posting something that on that day, and especially nailing down the time when you post, is ideal. You'll want to make sure that you avoid spam posting. So just, posting about your business and all the time, and that's exclusively what you talk about, or any promotions or deals that you're talking about. If you're only using that and you're doing it often, it can get irrelevant, and people may get annoyed enough that they'll unfollow you. And then also not managing your community. Like I said, social media, will draw some people to maybe critique your business. So you'll want to make sure that you are very responsive with those critiques, and because other people can see that. So if they, like I said, if they see that you care, then they're more likely to take that critique with a grain of salt and wait for their own experience with your service. So here's an example of some social media posts on Facebook, and really, this one, an example, is original and shared content, and it educates your audience. So this is the best type of content on social media so that you can engage your audience, because, say, for example, you were to post this during tax season. Here's what you could let people know about, the pitfalls of not filing your income tax return on time and what that means for them. So you're sharing educational information for them that they're likely to interact with. Another one is, don't be afraid to share pictures of your office. I actually had a client that communicated with me, and he would actually post pictures of his dog. And it would just be, he'd bring in his 2 poodles, and he'd bring them into the office, post pictures online, and, it really didn't have anything to do necessarily about accounting, but it was about his firm, and so, that was something that a lot of people thought was kind of funny and they would interact with. So it's okay to have light-hearted content on your site, on your profiles. And then, of course, anything that's topical, anything that's out there in the news, you could definitely share, any articles that come up on Entrepreneur Magazine or Forbes, or, any of those big publications is something that you could share, and it helps you so that you don't have to create your own content every time. It gives you something to share. Okay, so here are your resources. It's going to be slide 29 when you refer back to it. And we have some webinars that are specifically around social media, and we have a lot of great questions. So if you have some questions, you'll probably find those on here. These are some of the common questions we get on our webinars that are specifically about social media. And then if you need help with your social media, but you need help deciding, I'd recommend this right here, this article here, so that it takes you through the, the advantages of having someone manage your social media for you. And then, of course, if you need ideas on what to post, if you'd like some more information on how to post, which platforms to use, any how-tos that you're wondering about, definitely download this white paper. It'll teach you on how to run your social media accounts and what to post and give you some ideas. Okay, so we're going to talk about pay-per-click advertising. This is somewhat related to SEO in the sense that it is on a search engine results page, but the difference is that this is actual advertising, so you do have to pay in order to show on a search engine results page in this. So really, the advantage of this, though, is that it only requires you for, actual traffic and leads to your website. So some of the reasons why you would need it is really to build awareness. You can get your firm in front of potential clients without them looking for you. Instead, you go to them with paid reach. So what this means is that when they're searching for you, you don't have to rely so much on organic results. You'll just pop up right in front of them. It's also a really great way to complement SEO. Google AdWords is an ideal form of advertising because it helps you have a presence as your SEO is working, and as people are, as someone is doing optimizations on your website and waiting for the search engine to crawl it and decide whether it's good enough to show. Here, since you're paying to show up on his results page, you're already there on a search engine results page as your SEO builds up and takes some work. So it's really just a really good way to boost your presence on search engines. It also helps you increase your geographic reach. So the thing about SEO is that it's confined to a location. And with PPC, you can actually reach outside of your geographical location just by targeting, that geographical location, which is very easy to do with PPC. And it helps you track leads and gives you the platform to track those leads within Google AdWords. Some things to consider when you're running your AdWords account. You'll need to create one. This is something that's separate, and it will depend on a Gmail address. And with as with local SEO or with SEO, you'll need to do some research on keywords. Some things that you'll want to look at with keywords is make sure that it has some volume behind it, meaning that people are actually searching for them, and that it has, a competitive bid on it, because that means that it's worth bidding on. And then also, you'll want to make sure that you have negative keywords. These are keywords that you do not want to show up for. So anything like free accounting services or H&R Block, those are things that you don't want to necessarily show up for, or H&R Block you may want to show up for. But really, these are just things that, it's a way to minimize your spend so that people aren't needlessly clicking on your ad, because you will be charged when someone clicks on your ad. You'll also want to maintain a high quality score, and that's really just the quality score is how Google determines whether your ad is relevant to the search, and they will filter out any ads that have incorrect information or they don't consider relevant to the search. Your quality score will also determine how much you end up paying, and it will affect your bids. So if you have a higher quality score, you're less likely to pay so much versus someone who has a lower quality score. They'll have to really incentivize Google to show their ads by paying more for it. So really, it's a way to manage your budget so that you don't end up using up all your spend. And with PPC, of course, you're going to want to test. A/B test. This is really where this comes in. It's when you're testing, one variable versus another, a test versus a control. So what this ends up doing is it helps inform which language to use, which language resonates with people, which types of landing pages actually get people to fill out your form. So, you're not going to get it right at first. You'll want to, test a couple of things by looking at the data and then running an A/B test so that you can see what's working and what isn't. So, a few other things you'll want to consider how you're selecting your targets. Targeting correctly can keep your ads from being served to irrelevant searchers. So really this means just choosing the correct keywords that align with your marketing goals. And then if you decide to move forward with it, know that it does take a lot of effort and knowledge to set it up and run and optimize your campaigns with negative keywords and optimize your landing pages. So you'll want to be aware of fee structures, particularly for anyone that is running your PPC for you. Some PPC experts will actually charge you a rate based on what your spend is in advertising versus someone that could charge you just a flat fee in order to run this for you. Some pitfalls to avoid with PPC is out of control spending. So one of the most important parameters to set when running PPC campaigns are your daily and monthly budgets. This will tell Google the absolute maximum that you're willing to spend on any given day or month so that you don't spend more than you can afford. Another thing is breaking AdWords rules. Google has a lot of policies on what you can say and how you say it. For example, you can't use brand names in your ad copy. So you'll want to follow those guidelines. Otherwise, Google will disapprove your ads and they won't be showing. So just make sure that you follow those guidelines. And then, of course, you'll want to avoid inaccurate landing pages. Every ad group you run, and an ad group is just a way that you structure your campaigns within Google AdWords. Each ad group should have its own purpose. For example, one ad group may be targeting, taxes or tax preparation specifically. So you'll want to make sure that that ad group has keywords around tax preparation. There's going to be a lot of keywords that you could choose from. You'll want to have negative keywords for anything around tax preparation that you'll want to avoid. And then, of course, that ad group has to lead to a page specifically about tax preparation. Some accountants will just direct it to their homepage. And what that does is when a searcher clicks on it, is they'll end up getting a little confused, thinking they're going to a page about tax preparation and seeing your homepage where they see, oh, we're an accounting firm and that a full service accounting firm, and it lists all of the different services. They're not really going to know what to do because they were looking for tax preparation specifically. So you want to make sure that your landing pages align with all of the copy that you're using in your AdWords campaigns. So I wanted to give you guys an example of a test. In this particular test, similar ad copy has been laid out at the bottom. So what this person is testing is they're going to be testing this headline here at the top. They're trying to find out whether Bay Area tax accountant resonates or if tax preparation services resonates with people. And what they'll do is this here, everything else is absolutely the same. The landing page that people end up on when they click on here is the same. So what they'll look for is to see which one gets the most clicks. After doing some tests, they actually found out that Bay Area tax accountant was the winner. So more people were clicking on this one versus this ad here. So then they took their findings from that test. And then this person decided to test, okay, well, if a geographical location is resonating with people, which verbiage resonates when it's referring to the geographical location? So does Bay Area make the most sense to people, and is that what they're willing to click on? Or does San Francisco tax accountant resonate with people, and is that where they choose to click on? After some tests, they found that, yet again, Bay Area tax accountant had the most clicks on that ad versus San Francisco tax accountant. So, now after these tests, when this accounting firm creates any ads, they know to say Bay Area tax accountant in some shape or form because that's what people want to know about and that's how they're searching and that's what resonates with them. Again, this is a very high-level overview of PPC, so by all means, please go to our blog and here are some of the recommended blog posts. And then if you want to learn more about how Google AdWords works with a lot more detail, please download this white paper, An Accountant's Guide to Getting More Profitable Clients with Google AdWords, and it'll really go into detail on how it can complement your SEO and how you can target, and you can really refine the types of clients that you're targeting so that you get more profit out of a specific client. So I do want to let you guys know that, all of these services are available to you. Whether you're an existing member or not, we have accounting website design available, pay-per-click, search engine, social media, whatever it is that you need help with, you'll just want to contact one of our internet marketing advisors, or if you're a member, your accountant advisor, and let them know what your needs are, and they can probably suggest a program for you. So, thank you so much for joining. Again, you'll get this recording in your inbox tomorrow. If you do have any questions, please email service@cpasitesolutions.com. And then if you want to talk to an internet marketing advisor about any of the programs that we offer, or even just a little help on what you have already, please go ahead and contact this phone number here. And of course, follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, if you'd like to learn more about webinars and white papers that we put out there. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to be going through some of the questions. Let's see. Okay, so I think one of the questions that we have is when will the links be sent out that were discussed during the session? So these links that I showed you are going to be within the PowerPoint that will be sent out to you tomorrow along with the recording. If you look through the PowerPoint, you'll have all of those links and resources so that you could refer back to. So even if you don't, necessarily go through the whole PowerPoint, just the areas that you're interested in, just refer to those slides so that you could learn a little bit more about each of the channels. Okay, I'm just waiting for a couple more questions to come through. Okay, so here's a question. Let's see. Okay, here's a question about social media and a website. It says, which is better, Facebook, Twitter, or a website? I would recommend that you have a website regardless of what your social media presence is. If you want, really, a lot of people search online. They're probably not listening to your traditional marketing channels like the radio or TV or even any mail flyers. So most of the people that I know actually just recycle those. So, having a website, the cost of having a website is really very small compared to the types of advertising spend that you would need to have in order to do any sort of traditional marketing methods. Now, whether Facebook or Twitter is better, it really just depends on what your bandwidth is to update your social media profiles, Facebook won't need you to update as often as Twitter will because, like I said, Twitter is in real time. Okay, so we have, I think, time for one more question. Okay, let's see. This one is, how do I know if I have duplicates? One of the ways that you could find out whether you have duplicates or not is actually by, let me show you guys this. You go to gybo.com, and then if you go to check my business, enter your business name here, like CPA Site Solutions, and then here you'll have suggested listings that you could choose from. You just click on it, and then this will tell you whether it's verified, and if you have two, then I would probably check to see if those two appear on Google Maps. Okay, at this time, I'd like to thank everyone for joining. Again, you will be receiving this recording and PowerPoint presentation tomorrow. So if you do have any more questions, I'll be hanging on for a couple more minutes just in case there are a few more that come through. But for everyone else, have a great day. Thank you so much.